At the very outset, greetings for the 73rd Republic Day celebrations that is going on right now on the Rajpath of New Delhi. Honorable Sir Bhutta Singh Ji, Chairman of the school, Ma'am Satinder, Mother of the school, Sherry Sir, Director, and Vice Chairperson Ma'am Dr. Sandeep, Dean Sir, my lady, and my dear teachers. It's a wonderful day today. We have all gathered here. I wish the crowd was a little bigger, but because of Corona, you know that we could not get it here. But as a solemn occasion, we have to celebrate, remembering the sacrifices made by our freedom fighter and the visionary who set up the constitution for our country, the rule book, what we call as a rule book that was set. So remembering those people, those visionary is very important, especially if we learn that, if we know that, then only we can pass on to the new generation. So that's why marking this occasion is very important. You may witness a huge celebration taking place on the Rajpath today with all defense forces as well as people from all the departments showcasing their excellence, what we have achieved as a nation in the 75 years of independence. Republic Day, as we know, it is the day when the Constitution of India came into effect. Of course, Ritu ma'am will be enlightening us on this topic, but I would just like to add few points here. When India got independence in 1947, 15th of August, we didn't have any rule book. Sherry sir knows it. We don't have any rule books. We were following 1935 constitutions, which was government of Britain. That rule book was there. We were following that. So there was no rule book for India to run the country. There should be some rule book. Some constitution, some written documents should be there to run this entire big country. And for that, our forefathers, the government that was formed at the time, interim government, they've thought we have to come up with the constitutions. Like all democratic country, we should also have our own constitutions. And they form a provisional, committee for that to make the constitutions, which was headed by Dr. Balasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar, along as a chairman of the drafting committee, and along with many members from chosen from all over India from different fields. They have had numerous meetings, and of course it was discussed on land, inland, in the Parliament House, and ultimately on 26th of November 1949, it was finally adopted. The Constitution was finally adopted on 26th of November 1949. And finally, it came into effect from 26th of January 1950. So 1950, we had ultimately the president to run the country. So we become a republic. Till 1950, now 26th January, we never had a president. It was all being run by the Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru, and we had a Governor General to run the country till 1950. So from 26th of January 1950, we became a republic. So when we say republic, the country will be headed by the president. So we had a president running the country at the time. And we all know the first president of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So this is how the constitution come into effect, and we are running that right now. This constitution has provided certain rights to us, certain things that was given to us. Of them, the first one is a sovereign nation. We became a sovereign nation. We became a socialist nation. Now these are the words which has a lot of meaning to it. We are a sovereign nation. We are not under any foreign country anymore. We were under the British rule for a very long time, so we became independent. We could take our own decisions. Then we become socialist. Then we become a secular country. India became a secular country. It's not like other countries where religion is the most important point. It's a secular. It's no religions for the government. It's all same for all the people practicing their own religions. It became a democratic country and a republic, assuring us justice, equality, and fraternity, and liberty. These were the rights given to all of us. We were living in a free air today. We can breathe. We can do whatever we like. We can protest. We can do whatever we like. It is because of the constitutions. If I like, I can say things against the Prime Minister of India also, because this right was given to me by the constitution. Now, sadly, many of the countries in and around the world, they don't have this right. They cannot protest. They cannot go against the government, which we have the right here in India. But having said that, I would like to talk about one personality here today, which I guess had played a big role in the independence of India. Okay, because after independence only we get a constitutions, we get a republic. So one particular personality which need to be understood, I think since his birthday falls just few days back only, I thought I should take up this particular topic today to just bring about a little light on the topic on his life. The following words will describe his mighty personality. Who is this one? We'll come to know afterward, okay? Exiled from his homeland and a fugitive from the mighty British Empire, with no resources available to him except his own patriotism, audacity, and enterprise, Bose believed that freedom would be given by the oppressors, but had to be taken by force. So this is one thing that came into difference here, where we talked about the freedom to be achieved, not by, requesting. So this has a totally different meaning from the other freedom fighter, where we have the Gandhisms and the non-violent movement. Here we are talking about a Bose who had a different vision altogether. He felt that we are not going to get freedom from British Empire by requesting. We have to apply force. And his mindset, I just want to try to understand today how he did that. How he became. He was a fugitive. He was a home. I'm just saying he didn't have any home. He was sent into exile, but he didn't have resources. But even then, he had that courage to fight that. And I just like to shed some light on that. Remember that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, as we address him, he was born in Cuttack, present-day Orissa district, Orissa state. What happened is that he was a president of INC, International Congress. He was a president of International Congress, and Gandhis and Nehrus well were there at the time. He was a different visionary altogether. So there was a clash of opinion between the Gandhis and the Bose, and ultimately what happened? Bose left Congress. He said, "Yeah, I'm not going to run this party again." So he left that, but because of his visions, because of his talks, the British become suspicious of him and put him into house arrest in Kolkata. So what happened after that? He had made an escape from there, and he thought that I have to leave this country and I have to take help of the anti-British forces. Now, when you talk about the anti-British forces, at that time, we had two different groups of people there. One is Axis countries, and we had the Allied countries. Allied countries, history man will be knowing better. When you talk about the Allied countries, we have the Britain and the Americas, and other countries were there with them. And another one was that Italy, Germany, and Japan. These countries were against the British. And remember this one, Britain was ruled by, at the time, Britain. So he thought that दुश्मन के साथ दोस्ती कर ले. To move these people out, I have to make friends with these people, that is Italy, Germany, and Japan. So he made a plan to escape from India. So he started from Kolkata at night. He escaped from there, disguising himself as a Muslim life insurance agent. His plan was to start from Kolkata to reach Kabul, and he did that. And let me share with you, on the way, he actually stayed in Amritsar also for a few days. He came to Amritsar, and he was there near the bus stand. There's a place called Islamabad. He stayed there for a few days, but he came as a Muslim. He disguised himself as a Muslim, okay, and as a life insurance agent. He came that way, and he was there for some time. And from here, he went to Kabul. In 10 days' time, he reached Kabul. And in Kabul, what happened? He changed himself. He disguised himself as an Italian businessman, and he reached Moscow. From Moscow, he reached Germany. Because his plan was to ultimately reach Germany to meet Hitler. Hitler was against Britain at that time. So he waited there. Though when he reached there, he was given official car and an office and the people to work with for his nation. right? And he wanted to meet Hitler, and he waited 1 year for that. After 1 year, he was given the private audience with Hitler. Hitler ultimately met him and assured him that yes, I will support you. So what he did, he made a legion. Now legion is a group of soldiers who try to fight for the country living in some other place. So what he did is that Germany has captured some Indian soldiers at the time, because Germany and Britain, they were fighting, and in the Britain, what happened, we had Indian soldiers also. He captured those people. We call them as prisoners of war, POWs. So he requested to give those people to me so that I can go and fight the British people from India and send them out. Hitler at last agreed, given that right, and he tried to form some kind of an army out there. Then he said, let me meet Mussolini also. He met Mussolini from Italy. Then he said, I have to go to Japan to take help of General Tojo there. Tojo was the Prime Minister of Japan at the time. I said, I have to take the help of Japan also, because then only we can beat this British. He requested that, please provide me with an aeroplane to go to Japan. But Hitler didn't provide that. He said, it's too risky, I cannot give you that. So he was sent in a submarine. He was in a submarine, and the name of the submarine was U-180. And it was a 90 days journey from Germany to Japan. So when he reached Japan, the Prime Minister of Japan, General Tojo, welcomed him with open heart, give him the rights, and a lot of facilities were given, about recognitions were given, rather say. And from Japan, what happened? That is in 1940s, 41, 42, 43. Then Pearl Harbor took place, attack of Pearl Harbor. So what happened at the time, also a lot of Japanese, they have captured POWs of Indian soldiers, okay, British empires. So he said, okay, these people also goes to you then. Okay, so he ultimately formed something called as Azad Hind Force, or we call it as a Indian National Army. So with these forces from Japan, he reached next is Singapore. Ultimately in Singapore, they formed the proper military forms. And his idea was that Japan is going to attack India from the eastern side. Japan's plan was that I will attack India from Singapore, then Thailand, then comes Myanmar, which is known as Burma, then we will reach India. His plan was that I will go alongside with Japan, and I will lead my brigade. He also had a brigade by the name Subhash Brigade. Subhash Chandra Bose, so Subhash Brigade. So he led his own brigade, and he marched with the British, with the Japanese army, and he entered Imphal, that is Manipur. Then he reached Kohima, 1944. April 1944. So in April 1944, the Battle of Kohima took place between the British and the Japanese. It was a fierce battle, and at the end of the day, the Japanese lost actually that battle. So his Subhash dream of freeing India with his slogan, Delhi Chalo, Chalo Delhi. That was a plan that he has inspired all the Indian peoples, that we have to send the British out of India in 1944 only. So that for that he made an army, and his slogan was Chalo Delhi. So he went that way. He reached up to Kohima, but in the Battle of Kohima, what happened? Britain defeated, British soldier defeated the Japanese army, and Japanese army ultimately had to retreat back. They went back. So since Subhash Chandra Bose, his army was not that armed or that powerful, so what he had to do, he also had to go back. He went back to Singapore. From there, he thought, let me take help of Russia, and from there, somehow he managed to get, in a bomber jet plane, he managed to get 2 seats, one for himself and one he had his companion was also there. So both of them, they try to reach Russia, but there comes the mystery part. It is said that the aeroplane actually met with an accident, and after that, no news about him. Till now, there's a lot of controversies going on. Some believe that yes, he died. Some believe that no, he's still alive. So that controversy is there. But I'll not go into this one. But if you look at that, his vision, okay, he was also one of the terrific freedom fighter. His vision was somehow similar to Bhagat Singh type. That we cannot request freedom. We have to obtain it by any means. So this is what he dreamt of, but his dream remained dream only at a time, and sadly in exile only, he could never reach India as such, and he passed away. And the beauty of this the brigade or the INS, the national, what do you call, Azad Hind Force, is that till today we have two things followed today. Amongst them, one of them was a Jai Hind. So their method of solution was that Jai Hind, which all three services of India right now, Navy, Army, and Air Force, use the same solutions, that is Jai Hind, which is used by Subhash Bose. Also, one of the famous marching band, Kadam Kadam Badhaya Ja, that is also a marching band of INA, and it is also being used by the armed forces right now. So with this, I would just end up with a biographer, German biographer, who talked about Bose in his words, quote unquote. One tends to forget that the Indian regions was not only an army set up to fight the British, but that it personifies Bose's vision of future India, in which neither religion, nor caste, nor culture, nor language would divide the country. His visions were great. That means he never wanted the country to be divided on the basis of religions and the languages and this and that. He wanted an united India somehow, which was ultimately brought about in the Constitution of India. Regrettably, fate intervened to deny Bose his cherished dreams and visions. And today, a whimsical nation needs to be reminded this bold and daring patriot in exile shook the British Empire to its root and accelerate its demise in India. And that's why we have a freedom, and that's why we are independent nation. And we all need to know that with independence, with freedom comes responsibilities, and we as a citizen of this country, we have to remember the responsibilities that is lies with us. Those freedom fighters, they have fought for the India, they have brought freedom for us, and the visionaries who set up the constitution, they have set up for us. Now it is for us and the next generation to see that this country runs in a proper way, so that we have a wonderful, and we can make this country great once again. Thank you. Jai Hind.